Have you ever wondered if love was something you were supposed to chase, or something God has already written into the story of your life? Think about that for a moment. So many people spend years searching, striving, and settling, believing that the right person is out there, but never knowing if they will actually find them. But what if love, real love, isn't a matter of luck or chance? What if it's not about being in the right place at the right time, but about being aligned with a divine plan? What if the one your heart longs for has already been chosen, prepared, and set aside for you? There is a truth many forget. Your life is not random. Your days are not accidents. From the moment you took your first breath, a blueprint was already written, a design so precise, so intentional, that nothing on earth can replace it. This is not just about destiny, it's about divine order. And when it comes to love, when it comes to connection, God does not leave you wandering without direction. There is a path, and there is a person marked by His hand. Most people live in fear of missing out, afraid they will never find the one, or worse, that they will choose wrong. That fear pushes them into relationships that look good on the surface, but leave the soul empty. But here's the truth. What God ordains, no force can undo. What is written for you has been sealed in eternity, long before your eyes even saw it. That means you don't have to chase, you don't have to force, and you don't have to beg. When it is divine, it will come with clarity, not confusion. Deep inside, every heart carries a whisper, a pull towards something higher than desire. That whisper is not just hope, it is guidance. It is God's way of aligning you with what was meant to be. And when you begin to trust that whisper, when you stop letting fear dictate your choices, you start to recognize the signs. You start to see that love, true love, is not about appearances, but about alignment. It's not about finding someone who fills your loneliness, but someone who completes your calling. Think about this. If God took the time to shape your purpose, don't you believe He also shaped someone to walk beside you in it? You were never meant to walk alone. From the very beginning, love was designed as partnership, as strength multiplied, as two souls moving together toward one vision. The right person doesn't just hold your hand, they hold your future with you. They don't just make you feel wanted, they make you feel destined. And the moment you encounter that kind of connection, something inside you knows it doesn't feel like chance. It feels like confirmation. But here is where the challenge comes. The world is loud. Distractions are everywhere. People will tell you that love is a game of trial and error, that you just have to keep trying until something fits. Yet, in your spirit, you know better. You know love is too sacred to gamble with. You know your heart is too valuable to waste. That is why understanding the signs is so powerful. Because when you know what to look for, you stop settling. You stop giving yourself away to what was never meant to hold you. You start to wait with wisdom, and when the real thing arrives, you recognize it. This is the reward of patience, of trust, of faith that when the time comes, you will not have to question if it's yours. You will see it, you will feel it, you will know, and the peace that flows from that realization will silence every doubt that once haunted you. So stay with this message, because by the time you walk through these truths, your eyes will no longer be clouded by fear, and your heart will no longer be chained to uncertainty. You will carry a new strength, a new hope, and a new conviction that God's hand is already guiding your story. And when you finally see the signs, you will not hesitate, you will not doubt, and you will not let go, because love true, divine, God-Ordained love is not just about finding someone to live with. It is about discovering the one God created for you to live out your purpose with. And once you understand this, you will never again confuse imitation for the real thing. You will know the difference, you will know the truth, and you will know when you've met the one heaven has chosen. When love is written by God, it does not come wrapped in chaos. It does not arrive with endless questions, sleepless nights, or constant fear of loss. Instead, it comes clothed in peace, a peace so deep that it silences the noise of doubt and stills the storms of insecurity. This is the first secret sign, and it is unlike anything the world can imitate. When you encounter the one heaven has chosen for you, there is a calm within your spirit that cannot be explained, only experienced. Many confuse excitement with assurance. They mistake a racing heart for love, thinking that intensity equals destiny, but excitement fades and intensity can deceive. True connection is not a fire that burns fast and leaves ashes behind. It is a steady flame, warm enough to bring comfort, strong enough to weather the winds, and constant enough to guide your steps through the darkest of nights. That is the difference between human desire and divine design. One is temporary, the other is eternal. Fear is often the enemy of love. Fear of being abandoned, fear of not being enough, fear of losing someone the moment you finally open your heart. But when God sends your match, fear loses its grip. There is no need to beg for reassurance or wonder if their heart will change tomorrow. Instead, you feel a steady confidence that this connection is not fragile, it is anchored. You begin to realize that the peace you feel is not because the person is perfect, but because the presence of God is in the bond. Where He is present, fear cannot dominate. Think of how many times people have stayed in relationships that drained them, simply because they confused attention with love. Attention comes and goes, but peace is priceless. Peace is the evidence of God's fingerprints on a connection. It is the quiet knowing that you don't have to fight for a place in someone's heart, because your place was already written there by the one who created it. Peace does not mean the absence of challenges. Even God-Ordained relationships face storms, but the difference is in how those storms are handled. Instead of constant drama, there is resolution. Instead of walking on eggshells, there is honesty. Instead of anxiety, there is trust. The right person does not bring chaos into your soul, they bring stability. They don't add to your confusion, they bring clarity. This is why peace is the first sign, because peace is God's signature. Your spirit recognizes what your mind cannot always explain. That is why you may meet someone and instantly feel a sense of home. Not because you have known them all your life, but because your soul remembers the design. There is no forcing, no pretending, no striving, just stillness, just the undeniable awareness that this is safe, this is steady, this is covered. That awareness is what separates divine connection from counterfeit attraction. When you find this kind of peace, you stop feeling the need to perform. You don't have to shrink who you are to keep them. You don't have to chase after their affection like water slipping through your fingers. You simply rest knowing that what God has placed together will stand. This rest becomes strength because when your heart is no longer consumed with fear, you can finally focus on growth, purpose, and destiny. And here lies the reward. When you feel this peace, it is not just about your emotions, it is about your future. The peace of God is always tied to His plan. If He has ordered someone into your life, He has also ordered that connection to protect, guide, and advance you toward what He created you to do. Peace is not just comfort, it is direction. It shows you that you are walking the right path, with the right person, at the right time. But here is the trap many fall into. They ignore the absence of peace because they are blinded by desire. They stay even when their spirit is restless, hoping things will somehow change. Yet deep down, they know when peace is missing, something is not aligned. You can force affection, you can manufacture attraction, but you cannot fake peace. If your heart is in constant turmoil, if your soul is unsettled, then you must ask yourself, is this God, or is this me holding on to what was never mine? The truth is simple but powerful. Love that is divinely ordered will not torment your soul. It will not leave you questioning your worth. It will not silence your voice or diminish your light. Instead, it will water your spirit, it will ease your mind, and it will give you the courage to love without fear. That is the kind of love heaven creates. That is the kind of love you deserve. And once you have experienced it, once you have tasted the stillness of knowing you are exactly where God wants you to be, you will never again settle for the noise of counterfeits. You will no longer run in circles, trying to make broken pieces fit. You will no longer confuse chaos for passion, because you will know true love is marked by peace, and peace is the evidence of God's presence. Stay anchored in that truth, and your spirit will never be misled. For when God writes your love story, He writes it with calm assurance, not with restless confusion. And when the one He has chosen stands before you, the peace you feel will be undeniable. It will be the voice of heaven whispering to your soul, "This is safe, this is solid, this is mine." Peace is the first confirmation, but it is never the only one. When God brings the right person into your life, their presence does more than calm your heart. It begins to align your purpose. This is where the true power of divine connection is revealed. Because love at its highest form is not only about companionship. It is about mission. It is about two lives, two callings, two destinies, weaving together to create something greater than either could accomplish alone. A God-Ordained match will never pull you away from who you were created to be. They will not distract you from your path or diminish your vision. Instead, they will awaken something within you that makes your purpose clearer, stronger, and more unstoppable. Their encouragement will not just be words, it will be fuel. You will find yourself dreaming bigger, moving bolder, and rising higher because their spirit amplifies your own. This is the unmistakable sign of alignment, when someone's presence does not derail your journey, but pushes it further than you ever imagined. So many settle for relationships that look good but lack alignment. They connect on surface levels: appearance, attraction, convenience, but when it comes to the deeper call of life, the bond falls silent. That silence is dangerous, because purpose is the oxygen of the soul. If someone does not breathe life into it, over time the connection suffocates. That is why purpose alignment is not optional, it is essential. Without it, love becomes heavy. With it, love becomes unstoppable. Think about how powerful it is when two people share not only affection but vision, when their dreams don't compete but complement, when their values don't collide but connect. Suddenly, the relationship stops being just about happiness, it becomes about impact. It becomes a partnership that shapes legacies, influences generations, and carries the fingerprints of God. That is why the right person will not simply be someone who loves you, they will be someone who runs with you. You will notice it in the way they speak about your future. They will not diminish your fire, they will guard it. They will not dismiss your calling, they will celebrate it. And when you start to doubt yourself, they will remind you of the greatness God has placed inside of you. They will not be threatened by your shine, they will protect it, because they know your light does not dim theirs. In fact, it makes both lights shine brighter. This is divine alignment, two flames uniting to burn stronger together than they ever could apart. But alignment is not always loud. Sometimes it's found in the quiet ways their heart mirrors yours, in the way they pray for you without being asked, in the way they stand beside you when life tests your strength, in the way they see not just who you are, but who you are becoming, and because of them, you find the courage to step into that future boldly. That kind of encouragement is not ordinary, it is heaven sent. Purpose alignment does not mean you share the same career or chase identical goals. It means your callings, though unique, move in harmony. It means your values speak the same language, your direction flows toward the same horizon, and your spirits recognize that you are walking toward the same destiny. When this kind of unity exists, conflict may come, but division cannot take root. Because no matter what you face, you are anchored by the same vision. Here is the truth many miss. Love that only satisfies emotions will eventually fade, but love that is rooted in shared purpose will endure through storms. When two people are bound by a calling greater than themselves, they do not give up easily. They do not break apart at the first sign of pressure. Because they know their connection is bigger than just them, it is tied to what God wants to release into the world through them. Imagine what happens when your purpose and your partner's purpose collide with divine timing. Suddenly, your relationship is not only a blessing to you, but to everyone who encounters it. Your bond becomes a light, an inspiration, a testimony of what God can do when two lives are aligned with His plan. This is why you cannot afford to settle for less, because when the real thing comes, it will not just touch your heart, it will transform your entire life. So pay attention to how someone affects your path. Do they draw you closer to your calling, or do they pull you away from it? Do they ignite your faith, or do they weaken it? Do they push you toward growth, or do they keep you stuck in cycles that drain your soul? The answers to these questions reveal whether the connection is divine or counterfeit. The right person will never make you sacrifice your purpose for their presence. Instead, their presence will strengthen your purpose. When you find that alignment, it changes everything. Life no longer feels like two people trying to walk in separate directions. Instead, it becomes a journey where every step is unified, every decision is supported, every dream is built together. That is the kind of bond that lasts, the kind of bond that endures, the kind of bond that heaven ordains. And once you experience this level of alignment, you will understand why God never wanted you to settle for less. Because anything less would have kept you smaller, quieter, and weaker than He intended. But the one He sends will expand you, elevate you, and awaken parts of you that you never even knew were sleeping. That is the power of divine alignment. It is not just love, it is destiny in motion. When love is aligned with God's plan, it carries a power that is both liberating and transformative. You will notice something extraordinary. Growth becomes natural. It is no longer forced, pressured, or demanded. It flows. A divine connection will not trap you in the weight of expectations, nor will it leave you feeling like who you are is never enough. Instead, it creates an environment where you feel safe to evolve, where change is not feared but embraced, and where progress is not measured by perfection, but by faithfulness to the journey. So many people carry the scars of relationships that suffocated them. They were told they had to change everything about themselves just to be loved. They walked on eggshells, fearing that one wrong step would cost them acceptance. That is not love, that is control. Real God-Ordained love never demands your growth through shame. It inspires it through encouragement. It does not threaten to leave if you struggle. It stands by you as you rise. And it does not see your flaws as disqualifications. It sees them as opportunities for healing, growth, and transformation. Think about this. The right person will not shrink back when they see your weaknesses. They will not use them as weapons against you. Instead, they will hold space for your humanity while reminding you of your divinity. They will speak life into you, not death. They will call out the strength within you, not magnify your failures. And through their love, you will find yourself becoming more not because they forced you to change, but because their presence awakens your best self. This is the mark of a divine match. You don't feel like you have to become someone else to be worthy of their love. You can be authentic. You can be vulnerable. You can be honest about where you are and where you hope to be. And rather than using your honesty against you, they will honor it. They will honor your process. They will honor your journey, and in that safety, growth flourishes. The beauty of this kind of love is that it creates freedom. Freedom to stretch, freedom to learn, freedom to fail without fear. Because when you know that someone is standing with you through the ups and downs, you no longer resist growth, you welcome it. You begin to see challenges not as threats to your relationship, but as opportunities for both of you to rise together. That is why the right match does not just help you survive life's battles, they help you conquer them. True growth in a divine relationship feels like being watered. A seed cannot grow if it is starved, but when it is given light and nourishment, growth becomes inevitable. In the same way, when love is real, it nourishes. It creates a steady flow of encouragement, accountability, and faith that brings out the greatness hidden within you. You do not feel drained, you feel replenished. You do not feel crushed, you feel lifted. That is the difference between love that limits and love that liberates. This kind of growth is not only personal but mutual. A God-Ordained match is never one-sided. You are not the only one changing, they are growing with you. You challenge each other to rise, not in competition but in unity. Their victories feel like your victories. Their progress inspires your progress. And together, you form a cycle of growth that never stops, because love keeps pouring back into love. Be mindful of this truth. Love that pressures you will eventually break you, but love that empowers you will always build you. If you constantly feel like you are being crushed by unrealistic demands, that is not divine. But if you feel yourself becoming more courageous, more disciplined, more hopeful, more faithful simply by being with them, then you have encountered the kind of love that heaven endorses. Growth without pressure is one of the clearest signs that you are standing in the presence of something holy. And here is the reward of it all. When two people grow together without fear, they become unstoppable. Because their foundation is not fear of losing each other, it is the joy of becoming who God created them to be. That joy becomes strength, that strength becomes unity, and that unity becomes a force that nothing in this world can tear apart. This is why a God-Ordained match does not just change your relationship, it transforms your destiny. You will know you found it because you will look back on yourself and realize you are no longer the same. You are stronger, you are wiser, you are freer, not because someone demanded you to change, but because their love gave you the courage to grow. That is the essence of divine partnership. It refines you, but it never destroys you. It stretches you, but it never shatters you. It pushes you forward, but it never tears you down. When love is truly from God, it will always build. It will always strengthen. It will always elevate. And in that safe place, where growth flows without pressure, you will discover the kind of relationship that not only honors your present, but prepares you for your future. Growth without pressure is a powerful sign, but there is one more confirmation that sets a divine connection apart from every imitation. It is the voice of heaven itself, the unmistakable presence of God wrapping His approval around what He has joined. When you encounter your true match, the confirmation will not only come from within, it will be echoed from above. This confirmation does not appear as mere coincidence. It is not just about timing or convenience or chemistry. It is deeper. It shows itself in doors that open with ease, in obstacles that suddenly lose their power, and in clarity that washes away confusion. Where once you questioned and wrestled with uncertainty, now there is alignment, order, and divine flow. It is as if heaven steps into your story and clears the path, because God Himself has ordained the union. Many people chase signs in the wrong places. They look for external validation, waiting for approval from friends, family, or even society. But human voices cannot confirm what only God can seal. Real confirmation is not about popularity, it is about peace and alignment that no one can shake. When the bond is ordained, the world may not always understand it, but your spirit will. And the more you lean into God's presence, the louder His confirmation will become. You will know it because the relationship begins to bear fruit that cannot be manufactured. Your faith grows stronger. Your vision expands, your joy deepens. You begin to notice that distractions lose their grip, temptations lose their power, and things that once pulled you away from your destiny no longer hold the same weight. This is not by accident, it is evidence that the connection is covered, protected, and anointed by God Himself. Confirmation also shows up in the way clarity replaces confusion, where counterfeits leave you doubting, second, guessing, and battling inner unrest. Divine love clears the fog. There is no endless cycle of guessing whether you are valued, wanted, or chosen. Instead, there is certainty. You no longer wrestle with what if, because your spirit already knows this is it. And that inner knowing is stronger than any temporary doubt the enemy may try to whisper. But perhaps the greatest confirmation of all is the way God whispers to your heart. Sometimes it comes in prayer, a still small voice reminding you that this is His doing. Sometimes it comes through Scripture, when a verse you have read many times suddenly comes alive, fitting your situation with perfect precision. Sometimes it comes through alignment of circumstances, doors opening so smoothly that you know only God could have arranged it. However it arrives, one thing is certain. The confirmation will be undeniable, and it will bring peace that no outside opinion can take away. This does not mean everything will be perfect or effortless. Every relationship requires effort, grace, and patience, but the confirmation of God is what separates struggle with purpose from struggle without direction. You may face challenges, but instead of tearing you apart, they draw you closer. Instead of weakening your faith, they deepen it. Instead of making you question the relationship, they confirm its strength. Because what God ordains, He also sustains. There is a reason the enemy fights divine unions so fiercely, because they carry weight in the kingdom. Two people aligned with heaven's plan are a force too powerful to ignore. That is why confusion, distraction, and counterfeits will always try to step in. But here is the promise: when God confirms something, no attack can cancel it. When He seals it, no hand can unseal it, and when He blesses it, no curse can reverse it. So how do you know you have found it? Pay attention to the fruit. Pay attention to the flow. Pay attention to the way God's presence surrounds the connection. If you find yourself closer to Him, clearer in vision, stronger in faith, and filled with peace, you are standing in the presence of confirmation. And once you have tasted that certainty, you will never again be fooled by counterfeits. You will no longer chase after what drains you. You will no longer beg for clarity in places where confusion reigns, because you will know what is from God comes with confirmation, and what is not will always come with chaos. The beauty of divine confirmation is that it frees you. You are no longer bound by fear of missing the one or wasting years in the wrong place. You no longer have to live in anxiety about whether you are making the right choice. You can rest not in your own ability to figure it out, but in God's ability to reveal it. And when He reveals it, it is unmistakable. The confirmation will echo in your soul, and your spirit will align with His truth. This is the final sign, the seal that cannot be counterfeited. And once you receive it, there is no turning back, because you will know that the love you hold is not just good, it is holy. It is not just desired, it is destined. It is not just a relationship, it is a covenant, authored by heaven itself.